This is the QTV Nightly News, which is also on Q Radio 103.3 FM, and I am Loliam Kamara. Thank you for joining us. Here are the headlines. On Friday, the National Assembly convened for its fourth ordinary session of 2025, where Finance Minister Sidi Keita presented the government's draft 2026 budget estimates. The former Registrar of Companies, Aliu Jallo, has been charged with perjury and contempt of the National Assembly after appearing before the Special Select Committee investigating the sale and disposal of former President Jammeh's assets. The Banjul High Court has acquitted and discharged two government officers, Mansa Somare and Ibrahim J. Sane, who faced allegations of forging a letter from the office of the president to secure Gambian diplomatic passports. The Gambia Competition and Consumer Protection Commission on Thursday held a national forum to present and validate the draft of major regulations and implementation guidelines. In international news, French President Emmanuel Macron on Wednesday hosted African leaders and other global dignitaries at the Élysée Palace in Paris for the 8th annual Paris Peace Forum. Those were the headlines. Now the news in detail. Thank you for joining us. On Friday, the National Assembly of the Gambia convened for its fourth ordinary session of the 2025 legislative year, where the Gambia's Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs, Sidi Keita, presented for consideration the draft estimates of revenue and expenditure of the government of the Gambia for the fiscal year 2026. Mamna Bukar was there and CRIP now reports.
The draft budget presented is described as a strategic framework to advance the nation's development, centered around the theme of enhancing the well-being and quality of life for Gambians. The guiding principles of the budget focus on several key objectives, including maintaining macroeconomic stability through responsible fiscal policies, implementing structural reforms to foster a resilient economy, and improving public financial management to ensure the efficient allocation of national resources. Significant portions of the budget are dedicated to investing in human capital sectors such as health and education, with a special increment in allocation for agriculture. Here is Sidi Keita, the Gambia's Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs, presenting the draft estimates of revenue and expenditure for the Gambian government for 2026, after commencing his remarks with a review of the 2025 budget implementation.
We project total revenue and grants at 35.87 billion for the government local funds, which is an increase of 11.7%. Total expenditure and net lending are projected at 36.49 billion, which is a 13% increase. And the key allocations include a 16.36 rise in personnel emoluments amounting to 10.29 billion, covering housing allowances, promotions, and an expanded workforce. A 24% increase in subsidies and transfers to 8.01 billion, primarily for the energy, infrastructure, and agriculture, and subvention to our health and education sectors. Necessary provisions for critical election-related expenditures and infrastructure-related projects. Debt service continues to attract a large portion, about 30% of our expenditure budget, amounting to 13.5 billion in 2026, from 11.07 billion in 2025, which is an increase of 22%. Combined allocation to human capital-related expenditures, sectors of education, health, and agriculture amount to 10.82 billion, or 25% of the government local fund expenditure budget. We are accelerating public financial management reforms. Our transitions to program-based budgeting is expanding to 15 pilot MDAs. This ensures every dollar is linked to tangible outcomes in our recovery-focused national development plan, shifting our focus from what money is spent on to what it can achieve.
CDSK Njai, the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, encouraged all members to thoroughly review the proposed draft to ensure that it is in alignment with national priorities.
As we lay the groundwork for the 2026 fiscal year, let us remember that our shared goal is to create a Gambia where every citizen has the opportunity to thrive, where the government is accountable to the people, and where development is both inclusive and sustainable.
Members of the National Assembly will be participating in a retreat from November 1st to 4th to thoroughly examine and analyze the proposed document, after which they are scheduled to convene on November 19th and 20th, 2025 for an in-depth debate and consideration. Mamna Buka, reporting for QTV News.
Aliu Jallo, the former registrar of companies, has been charged with perjury and contempt of the National Assembly. The charges follow an investigation by the National Assembly Special Select Committee into the sale and disposal of former President Yahya Jammeh's assets as identified by the Janneh Commission. Here is my report.
Honorable Chair, I think the witnesses, excuse me for the word I'm going to use, but playing with the committee. And considering to the point that we are in now, the witness seems to have his own terms when it comes to creating a document from scratch on an electronic device.
That was the lead counsel giving her impression of the witness, Aliu Jallo. Mr. Jallo, who served as Registrar General during the sale and disposal of assets overseen by the Janneh Commission, was found to have obstructed the committee's investigations and deliberately concealed key information according to a forensic examination of his official laptop. His arrest was made under Sections 109 and 110 of the 1997 Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia and Orders 102 and 140 of the National Assembly Standing Orders. The committee questioned Mr. Jallo about tampering with his laptop, which contained crucial evidence. This was his response.
According to the GSF report, he said he was remembering some of this item. That's why he tampered with the laptop.
Honorable, I will want to differ with the word tampering. I respectfully differ. I did not tamper as such with the laptop. I was working on my laptop, typing information that I think will be helpful for me as I appear here.
At times, the committee members and the witness had to go back and forth over the forensic reports retrieved from the witness's laptop.
I think the forensic report that you are looking at have identified some issues from your laptop that council is trying to explain. There were documents that you were creating, and of course some you were modifying. And in fact, if I see others were deleted, I don't know. The committee is sitting currently investigating on this matter, and you as a witness, you've been dealing with the laptop, trying to tamper with some evidence that might be important for the committee.
Okay.
That is a very serious issue.
The National Assembly's Sergeant-at-Arms carried out the arrest and later transferred Mr. Jallo to the office of the Inspector General of Police for further investigations. For QTV News, Lolly M. Kamara. The Banjul High Court on Tuesday acquitted and discharged two government officers, Mansa Sumare and Ibrahim J. Sane, who faced allegations of forging a letter from the office of the president to secure a Gambian diplomatic passport. The ruling, delivered by Justice Ibrahim Jaite, cited inconsistencies and unreliability in the prosecution's case. This story by Nicholas Bass of the Voice newspaper is narrated by Adeli Campbell.
Mansa Sumare and Ibrahim J.S. Sane were accused of forging a purported approval letter from the office of the president for the issuance of a Gambian diplomatic passport to one Bakary Suso in 2019. The two officers faced 8 charges, including conspiracy, forgery, altering documents, and making documents without proper authorization. Both accused denied all charges, and the prosecution presented 8 witnesses to support their case. During the trial, inconsistencies in witnesses' testimonies raised doubts about the credibility of the prosecution's evidence. Justice Jaita highlighted that the 4th prosecution witness, Modu Saw, who claimed to be a protocol officer at the office of the president, gave contradictory statements that undermined the case. Saw admitted drafting a fake approval letter, justifying his action as an attempt to avoid pressure from Sumare, a claim Justice Jaita described as implausible and self-serving. The judge also noted discrepancies in the testimonies of other witnesses, including Ibu Silla and Keba Drame, who failed to verify critical details, and Bakri Suso, who alleged making payments to Sumare but lacked supporting bank records or receipts. The verdict underscores the judiciary's role in ensuring that convictions are based on credible and consistent evidence, protecting the principles of justice and due process. Aldar Dele Campbell reporting for QTV News.
We'll now go for a commercial break. When we return, we have national and international news stories. Do stay tuned.
Browse with us. QCell brings you a promo like never before. Get unlimited internet for just $25. Yes! Recharge $25 and enjoy the convenience of free internet from 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. every day with our Browse with Us promo. With this amazing offer, you can browse, stream, and download all your favorite movies for free. So why wait? Recharge $25 today and enjoy free internet only with QCell between 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. For more information, call customer care on 111. QCell, Senior Bus, we innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Looking for the perfect place to promote your product or place your advert? Look no further than QTV. We are the premier destination for businesses looking to connect with Gambian audiences and beyond. At QTV, we offer a variety of advertising solutions to suit your needs and budget. With our diverse range of programming, you can be sure that your ad will reach a broad and engaged audience. From our popular news broadcast to our exciting music and entertainment programming, QTV has something for everyone. QTV, the premier destination for advertising in the Gambia. Contact us today and let us help you reach your audience.
Welcome back, and this is QTV News. The Gambia Competition and Consumer Protection Commission GCCPC on Thursday held a national workshop to present and validate the draft measure regulations and implementation guidelines to establish clear rules for business measures as part of promoting fair competition, market transparency and consumer protection in the Gambia. Yafatugay tells us more.
The forum saw key stakeholders from diverse sectors across the Gambia reviewing, discussing and providing valuable input on the draft merger framework. This consultative process reflects the Commission's ongoing commitment to transparency, inclusiveness and collaboration in shaping policies that promote fair competition and safeguard consumer welfare. Yasin Senghor, chairperson of the GCCPC board, underscored the importance of the merger regulations in fostering a level playing field for businesses and protecting consumers from potential negative effects of market concentration.
Mergers and acquisitions play a vital role in modern societies. We can bring growth, efficiency and investment, but without proper oversight, they can also carry the risk of excessive concentration, reduced consumer choice and higher prices. The introduction of these regulations therefore seeks to strike a balance, encouraging legitimate business growth while preventing anti-competitive outcomes that harm consumers and the economy at large.
The introduction of the merger registration guidelines marks an important milestone in reinforcing the Gambia's competition and consumer protection regime. The framework is designed to promote clarity and consistency for businesses navigating the merger process, while ensuring that such transactions do not result in monopolistic behavior or unfair market dominance. Lumana Kamashi, the European Union delegate to the Gambia, commended the GCC-PC for its proactive efforts in strengthening regulatory governance and market integrity.
Beyond competition policy, the European Union continues to support the Gambia's broader effort to improve its business environment, to make it more transparent, predictable, and attractive for both local entrepreneurs and international investors.
Delivering the keynote address, Abdoulaye Jallow, Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Trade, Industry, Regional Integration and Employment, reaffirmed government's commitment to creating a conducive business environment grounded in fairness, accountability and transparency.
This is more than just a regulatory update. It is an important declaration that the Gambia is committed to modern, transparent, and a fair market governance. Ladies and gentlemen, the establishment of clear and robust merger guidelines is fundamentally about building economic confidence and also fostering a predictable trade environment.
Once finalized, the merger regulations are expected to promote fair competition by preventing anti-competitive mergers that could limit market access or innovation, enhance market efficiency or investor confidence through transparency and well-defined procedures, safeguard consumer interests by ensuring that mergers do not lead to higher prices, reduce product quality or fewer choices. The GCC-PC reaffirmed its unwavering dedication to promoting fair, transparent and competitive marketplace that benefits all Gambians. The validation of the merger regulations and implementation guidelines marks a crucial step towards achieving this vision and driving sustainable economic growth across the nation. Reporting for QTV News, this is Yafatu Gaye.
The National Human Rights Commission, NHRC, organized a two-day training program for the National Advisory Council on Persons with Disabilities. Here is my report.
The training aims to strengthen the capacity of the National Advisory Council members to thoroughly understand the PWD's Act 2021, the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, CRPD, and the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, and how they can effectively carry out their mandate and oversee the implementation of the Act. Emmanuel Daniel Juve, chairperson of NHRC, states the Act is a significant milestone in protecting and promoting the rights and dignity of persons with disabilities in the Gambia. It guarantees equal opportunities, non-discrimination, accessibility and active participation of persons with disabilities in national development.
We are moving away from mere aspirations and welfare approach to disability and towards a human rights-based approach that recognizes persons with disabilities as right holders who are capable of contributing meaningfully to society, provided that they are given the right opportunities and the right environment.
His Worship Mohammed Kurubali, the chairperson of the National Advisory Council, spoke on behalf of the council members.
For us to understand again and know vividly that as members of the National Disability Advisory Council, we are accountable to the people, in particular, persons with disabilities, in particular, to our various institutions and ministries that nominated us to serve as members of the National Disability Advisory Council. So we really have Herculean task to discharge.
Representing the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Welfare, Ilo Jallow, the ministry's permanent secretary, emphasizes that the training occurs at a time when his ministry is intensifying efforts for the full and effective commencement of the work of the National Advisory Council.
Persons with disabilities are equal to any member of the public with talents, aspirations, and contributions that are essential to our national development. Let us therefore work together to remove barriers, change mindsets, and create a society where every person, regardless of their ability, can live with dignity, participate fully, and reach their full potentials.
Lamin Sise, a member of the National Advisory Council and also a member of the Association for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing, shares how this training will enhance his work.
This training is very important, and it will help and enhance my skill when it comes to advocating and enhancing for the rights of persons with disabilities.
The National Advisory Council on Persons with Disabilities has been established to provide guardians, oversight and advice on disability-related matters to government, agencies, development partners and stakeholders. Over the coming days, participants will explore topics such as the international legal framework on the rights of persons with disabilities, the UN CRPD and AU protocol to the ACHPR. For QTV News, Lolly M. Camara.
As part of continuing effort to cope irregular migration, the International Organization for Migration, IOM, in partnership with the European Union, EU, and local partners, launched a new initiative on Tuesday to tackle migration and displacement challenges in the Gambia. Our Bob reports.
Migration management cannot be achieved in isolation. It requires partnership. It requires partnership between countries of origin, transit, and destination. It requires that we uphold international protection principles, support those fleeing conflict and persecution, and stand united against xenophobia and discrimination.
That was Immaculada Roca E. Cortez, the EU ambassador to the Gambia, emphasizing the importance of collaborative efforts in addressing migration and displacement issues. The EU-funded project aims to support reintegration, strengthen mental health and psychosocial services, and promote sustainable livelihoods for returnees and affected communities. The IOM, alongside partners Enabel and the Gambia Red Cross Society, will work to enhance community resilience and create opportunities that reduce the drivers of irregular migration. Abdul El Mahassan Fassi Fihri, Country Director of Enabel, and Ibu Fail Njai, Secretary General of the Gambia Red Cross Society, reaffirmed their organization's commitment to sustainable, community-driven solutions addressing the root causes of migration.
This project will open new doors for young Gambians, helping them build skills, start or advance their business, and pursue opportunities safely, whether it is at home or abroad.
This project, with a total budget of 3.8 million euros, aims to strengthen access to assistance and socio-economic integration for migrants in vulnerable situations. It seeks not only to meet immediate humanitarian needs, but also to address the long-term integration and inclusion challenges faced by migrants returning or living in the Gambia.
Carl Frederick Paul served as the United Nations Resident Coordinator in the Gambia.
The United Nations are aware that strengthening the integration of returnees in the Gambia project to be implemented by IOM will empower returnees and their community through community-based reintegration and mental health support, while strengthening institutional capacities for sustainable reintegration.
Gambia's Foreign Minister Serigne Modou Njie commended IOM and its partners for their joint efforts and reiterated the government's commitment to promoting safe and beneficial migration.
As we launch these projects today, let us reaffirm our commitment to ensuring their effective and transparent implementation. The government of the Gambia stands ready to provide the necessary policy leadership, institutional support, and coordination to guarantee success. On behalf of the government and the people of the Republic of the Gambia, I extend our sincere gratitude to the European Union, the implementing partners, and all stakeholders who continue to complement our national efforts.
The initiative represents a significant step toward tackling migration and forced displacement challenges by empowering local communities, fostering social cohesion, and strengthening resilience among returnees and residents alike. For QTV News, I am our Bob.
Now to some international news in a moment. French President Emmanuel Macron on Wednesday hosted African leaders and other global dignitaries at the Élysée Palace in Paris for the 8th annual Paris Peace Forum. The two-day gathering unites international decision makers to explore innovative strategies for peace, sustainable growth and inclusive development in the face of mounting global challenges. Aisa Tubari has more.
African leaders attending this year's Paris Peace Forum include Togo's President Faure Gnassingbé, Ghana's John Dramani Mahama, Liberia's Joseph Boakai, and the Democratic Republic of Congo's Felix Tshisekedi. Key discussions at the forum centered on conflict prevention and peace building, safeguarding democratic values, investing in children as a foundation for development, and harnessing artificial intelligence to promote peace and inclusive growth. Delegates also explored innovative climate solutions to accelerate global progress towards sustainability. This year's forum has special significance as this year is the 10th anniversary of the Paris Climate Agreement, with organizers seeking to renew international commitment to climate action ahead of COP30, scheduled later this year in Belém, Brazil. Amid overlapping global crises, the Paris Peace Forum aims to promote collaboration and shared responsibility among nations and institutions. This event highlights a united commitment to building stronger alliances that advance peace, democracy, and sustainable development worldwide. Aisa Tubari, QTV News.
Before we end, here's a recap of the headlines. On Friday, the National Assembly convened for its fourth ordinary session of 2025, where Finance Minister Sidi Keita presented the government's draft 2026 budget estimates. The former registrar of companies, Aliu Jallo, has been charged with perjury and contempt of the National Assembly after appearing before the Special Select Committee investigating the sale and disposal of former President Jammeh's assets. The Banjul High Court has acquitted and discharged two government officers, Mansa Sumare and Ibrahim J. Essane, who faced allegations of forging a letter from the office of the president to secure Gambian diplomatic passports. The Gambia Competition and Consumer Protection Commission on Thursday held a national forum to present and validate the draft major regulations and implementation guidelines. In international news, French President Emmanuel Macron on Wednesday hosted African leaders and other global dignitaries at the Élysée Palace in Paris for the 8th annual Paris Peace Forum. That's all for this news bulletin. Join us tomorrow at 8 p.m. for another bulletin. Thanks for watching.